Donald Trump brought guests to the debate last night, but one of them was Patricia Smith, seen here at the RNC. She is the mother of Sean Smith, who was killed in Benghazi. I want to bring in Tig Tiegen, who fought in the Battle of Benghazi. Do you think that when Donald Trump brought in Patricia Smith, that helped him in some way, or helped your cause of getting to the truth in Benghazi?
You know, the way it went down last night, I'd probably say no, because for one, they didn't really bring up Benghazi. I mean, he brought up the fact that the families of the mothers that the illegals killed their sons. I mean, he brought that up, but you know, it's a small thing. Benghazi's kind of like a small portion of her failures, pretty much as a politician. But bringing Pat Smith, I mean, he didn't really use it as firepower, so it didn't really, in my mind, help him that much bringing her in at that time. I
believe at one point, Tig, that Hillary Clinton brought up the fact that she was in the room during the raid on Osama bin Laden when he was killed, and she's using that as a sort of a measure of experience in counter-terror. What do you make of that?
That's I almost yelled out at that point in time, because, you know, to me that was just a PR stunt. You know, we have a real situation going on. You had a U.S. ambassador. It was a 22-year State Department employee, so he didn't donate to the Obama Foundation or Clinton Foundation to become the ambassador. He worked his way up, and when he went missing for 6 hours, instead of her being in the Situation Room where she should have been, like she was during the bin Laden raid, because if they would have shown, it was like a failure on her part, so it wasn't a PR stunt. So her self-preservation kicked in. Well, I'm going to go home and we'll see what happens when morning comes around. And you know, for 6 hours, the U.S. ambassador was missing, and she goes home and goes to bed. She doesn't care. She calls him a great friend, a best friend, or whatever she wants to call him. And I would not want her as a friend if I'm in trouble and she goes home and goes to bed.
Tig, would you just give me 30 seconds on what you experienced in Benghazi? Because a lot of our viewers do not know what happened and what your role was. Tell us, please.
We got a radio call saying, hey, you know, we're overrun. It took us 30 minutes to get over there. We got told to stand down by our chief of base in Benghazi. And it took us, so they were under siege for about an hour before we even made it over there. We searched for the ambassador for about another hour and a half, something like that. We got counter-assaulted. We pushed those guys off. We made it back to our compound, and you know, we survived 2 additional attacks in our compound. And the third final attack was when the mortars came in, which was, you know, about 8 hours after the initial phone call. And that's what killed the 2 remaining SEALs. And to me, her being in that leadership position, she should have been in the Situation Room just like she was during the bin Laden raid, making sure that, like she was saying, you know, to be a president, you need to make sure that you know what's going on. You know that when you give an order, it's being done. Well, that night, that proves that she doesn't have that capability, because instead of making sure that her orders were followed through as just the Secretary of State, she goes home and goes to bed. John, and to me, that just lack of leadership.
John, I think you've made your case very well. I don't think it was made very well last night. It didn't come to the fore last night, but you've done it for us this morning. John Tiegen, thanks for joining us. Always appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John.
Yes, sir.